Welcome back, INMS students. Last week we learned about propagation and we learned about mindfulness. Mindfulness is the state of being conscious and aware. So we're using our senses. Remember what we did with Mr. Eli? We used our senses to hear what's around us, to feel everything. And we also did it in last week's video with the plants. We're appreciating all the plants, their life, and what they give us. We also learned how to propagate by keeping flowers cuttings in water and letting the roots grow without putting in soil. And now this week we're going to learn about breathing techniques, how to stay calm, relax ourselves with what we can without any objects or supplies. And it's very useful during this time. There's a lot going on. We have a pandemic, and then we also have civil rights that are being violated. And so we're going to learn about how to channel ourselves, learn how to process our emotions. There's many ways of practicing mindfulness. One of them is through breath. And so we're going to practice breathing techniques that we can use when we're stressed or anxious. So like whenever we're feeling those sort of emotions, we'll usually take shallow breaths, which means they're kind of quicker and they're not as deep. And so by breathing deeply into our bellies, we can use our breaths to calm ourselves and our body, our mind. And to practice that sort of mindfulness by breathing, you want to press your right hand on your belly and your left one on your chest, and then feel a gentle rise and fall of your breath. So we're going to count to 3 as we inhale, and then we're going to exhale. I like to close my eyes when I do that. It gives me a nice feeling of calmness. You don't have to close your eyes, it's whatever you're comfortable with. To practice these mindful breathing techniques, it's easy to use a Hoberman sphere, which is that toy that opens and expands, or inflating a balloon as like a visual representation. You can also do these breathing techniques throughout the day to help with like transitioning in between classes or right before a test or exam, or just when you feel like there's a lot going on and you need to step back and reflect on that. We just went over mindfulness with breath, but there's also mindfulness with movement. And Mr. Eli showed a clear example by jogging. And you can look to Miss Molly's videos of yoga. That's another way of practicing it through movement. By moving around and feeling around you, you can be more aware of what you're reflecting on through your physical sense. Something I like to do is journaling. And I think journaling is very important because it makes a difference. It offers an excellent way to focus on mindfulness by helping you reflect on experiences and thoughts, allows you to be more aware of the present moment. Some of the prompts we can go through is, when I think about the people in my life, what do I feel grateful for? Another prompt could be, what are some of the things I love most about my life? I would sit there for 5 minutes and just think about these questions and just jot it down. They don't have to be full sentences. They can be whatever comes to mind. Journaling can look very different for many people. For example, I sometimes like to doodle when I write. Another thing I know other people do is they like to write poems. Some people don't even put words in their journals. It's just pure drawing or artistic expression. When I journal and talk about the things I love, some of it is how I love to plant and how my plants are important to me, or how much I love trying new things, going to a new restaurant, cooking a new dish that I've never cooked before. I love meeting new people. So these are things that you can write about, reflect on, and so we're gonna go inside and jot some things down. So we learned about inhaling and exhaling on the count of 1, 2, 3. Another way of breathing is just as you breathe, think about the air that you're breathing in. Is it cold? Is it warm? How does it feel? As you exhale, how does that feel? Is it coming out in a big whoosh? Is it coming out slowly? And as you think about that, you kind of feel yourself fall into place. That's something I like to do. I like to listen to my surroundings. A lot of loud noises make me anxious and I feel like I'm in a rush. When I do that, I start to tap my fingers in a steady beat and focus on it for a while, and that helps me. And I like to do that before I start jotting down some memories, get me into a nice rhythm of peacefulness. So I'm gonna start my journal process. I usually like to write my name on top, and I like to put the date, so today's date. And then I like to write an emotion that I'm feeling. So right now I feel content. What does that mean? That means that I feel okay. And so I'm gonna talk about the things I ate today that I really liked. So I had a donut. What else did I do? I planted, so I'm gonna write plant. So far I have content, donut, plant. And this doesn't need to make sense for anyone who's reading it, because I don't know, I don't like sharing my journal, but you can feel free to share it with anyone. Or something else I could do is just write it out in sentences. So today I felt like I wanted to try something new, and so I did. And that's how journaling can look like. You can go off. Maybe I'm gonna doodle a flower. Maybe I'll put a smiley face. And maybe I'll even plan out my week for the schedule. Right now, we'll say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And what does that look like? I'll put my schedule for 8 a.m. That's gonna be the time I wake up to 5 p.m. And then the time in between. Oh, don't forget to take vitamins, homework that I need to fill in. And this all can go in your journal. And see, like right now, I have a loose leaf paper. I don't have an actual journal here with me. And that's okay. You can do that on loose leaf, or you can even make your own journal. That'll be a nice crafting thing for you to do. Fold up your piece of paper a couple of ways, and then maybe cut it open, turn into several pages, hole punch it, put some string through it, or even a rubber band, and keep it together. Or you can use different color paper or construction paper and make it really artsy. And if you have a notebook already from school, maybe take out pages that you don't need, recycle it, which is also healthy for our earth.